Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving in to see the energy, insights, and guidance, as well as the life lessons that you have coming in for the month, but most importantly, the blessings for the month of November. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who is joining here for the first or second or even third time. It's wonderful to have you guys back here today as we are going to be reading into your November blessings. I put out these readings every single Monday, so if you want to subscribe, feel free to check that out as I do different career readings, spirituality readings, and so much more to check out on this channel here today with me. But today, like I said, we're going to be looking into your November blessings, and normally I only do the blessings, but today we're actually going to be diving a little bit further to look into the life lessons that you may be learning within the month too. So it was definitely an interesting type of reading, and I hope you guys enjoy the new format. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. I love constructive feedback and just hearing what you guys have to think and have to say. But before we start really heading into the piles and looking at the nitty-gritty of each of them, I do want to give you guys the opportunity to support this space, this channel, and this community even further. If you would like to support yourself as well through the readings and offerings and ritual papers that I provide, definitely check that out down below, as well as the reviews and more information on my Instagram. But basically, I have two main offerings at the moment when I am recording this. The Yule paper that I'm putting out right now that is just launching today. If you want to check that out, I have this new spell paper that I have created for rituals, for spells, for workings that are around or centered around the time frame of Yule. I wanted to do this early to make sure that you guys receive them in time, so definitely jump on it. There are only 9 sets available. They are made with so much love and care and are made with 100% recycled different paper products, and they also are created with not only a lot of love but also with a lot of intention in the dried herbs and different foraged ingredients that I find locally. So definitely check those out because there's a lot of wonderful eco magic that you can create. But beyond that offering, you can also check out the snail mail readings, which I've talked about quite lengthily on here, so I won't go deeply into them, but basically they are written on a typewriter and typed up on a typewriter and sent to you in the mail for love, career, spirituality, or so much in between. And they also have the option to receive that same paper and your own personalized custom sigil. So if either of those offerings are something that you would like to support yourself with and also support this channel and this community of kindred spirits with, then definitely check those out down below. But before I go ahead and start waffling on even further about all the love and empowerment that can come through these offerings, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the piles. So here for pile number 1, we have the crystal cluster of Amethyst. So here is the crystal cluster for you to see in all its little sparkly glory. So that is pile number 1's crystal, but you also have the little tiny green leaf as well. So there you are for pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have the yellow leaf. So this is the little yellow leaf that you could choose. It's got like this little, I kind of love the leaves when they have these little burnt spots on them. So that is your leaf, but this is the crystal. So we have this clear quartz point. It's got kind of a shiny side on this side, lots of beautiful broken pieces, almost looks like ice. So that is pile number 2. And lastly here for pile number 3, we have black tourmaline. It's very shiny, but also very dark and mysterious and fun. And then there's also the orange dried leaf. So those are all of the different piles you can choose here today. But let's go ahead and take the opportunity here to take a deep breath here to really connect with your intuition and ground your energy before you start really choosing which pile is fully resonating for you. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 piles. You can choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind, whatever resonates and works best for you. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description as well as within the chapter marks. And as I said, if you would like to check out my Instagram community, subscribe, like the video, comment, and all that fun jazz, as well as check out the ways of supporting this channel even further through the offerings that I provide with the snail mail readings and the spell and ritual papers that I hand make myself, then definitely check all of that out down below. But before I waffle on any further, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of amethyst as well as the light green leaf down here, then this is the pile for you. We are going to be looking into your November blessings as well as the lessons that are coming in for you. So we're going to be doing that with the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using 2 different oracle decks, which I'll have listed down below with the rest of the decks and supplies that I use in the description. And today we are also going to be using the Everyday Tarot. I've just been really loving this for November for whatever reason. It's not even really November colors, but last November I used it. This November I'm using it. So it's just got a November feel to it. So anyways, go ahead and get settled, grab a blanket. Some of you I know work out during these. Some of you chill out and listen to music. Whatever you would like to do to feel comfortable and safe, feel free to do that. And feel free to send your energy in through time and space here now. But we're going to go ahead and start looking into your blessings, the energy, and just general shifts and changes that may be coming in for you that are blessed within this coming month. It's actually this card. So, okay, we've got the 5 of Swords, the 3 of Cups, so far as your blessing. So there is something about celebrating, but there is also possibly conflict happening within that celebration. So possibly someone coming to the celebration, ruining the vibes, or changing things up a little bit in a way that you weren't expecting. Maybe this is even you, so see which character or person within these cards really resonates most for you, but we're going to keep going. So what blessings are coming in for November for group 1 here, group 1? We also have the Queen of Swords. I'm not sure if I showed you guys all of the cards here. I will bring them up for everyone. So we have the Queen of Swords. You also have the 3 of Cups and the 5 of Swords here. So like I said, there's a bit of a conflict. Possibly I am getting a parent or a mother, possibly because of this being the queen, but that doesn't have to resonate in that way. But there is something about possibly feeling held back, or like they're trying to steal your thunder or something like that, trying to be the socialite or trying to kind of take over the situation. But we're going to see more information in case that is not the case or it's not fully resonating there. But we're going to see what else is coming in for your monthly blessings. So you have breathe. Okay, so with this, I absolutely love the message that we have here. It's the earthworm, and it says breathe, but it also says here, do I accept myself without judgment? And that's what I was kind of talking about. I feel like someone's taking over or making you feel like bad about yourself in front of your friends or in front of people that you truly love or you're trying to impress possibly at like a party or like I just don't know. There's just some sort of social situation in which I feel like that may be happening. And you might be wondering, like, how is that a blessing? But I do think it's about you finally maybe standing up for yourself. And we're definitely going to see that in the lessons that you may be learning. So we'll see more of that here in a minute, but I really do feel like it has a lot to do with you taking shape, starting to understand who you really are. And even if you are, people look at worms and are like, oh, they're worms, but they do so much for us and they provide so much for us and they don't get the credit for it. But I feel like you are this worm in that you're just owning whoever you are. You know what I mean? You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to present yourself a certain way. You don't have to be a certain person in front of these social settings. You just have to be yourself. And the great thing about this 3 of Cups too is a lot of the time it talks about several different people, right? They're all dressed differently. They have their hair differently. They are, they just all are very different individuals, and they all are individuals coming together to celebrate their differences, to celebrate who they are, coming together to be grateful for one another, to honor one another, and to find validation in each other. And I feel like you're being undervalued, by this person here of this Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords usually talks about someone who is quite, they can be very intelligent, they can be very good with their words, but they can also use their words brashly, or it just feels like a slice to the throat, right? Like, or a slice or a cut, or it just feels very intense. They go straight for the hardest and harshest way of putting certain things, and sometimes they can be very blunt, and that's actually a really good thing for certain people. But in this situation, I feel like you are feeling like they're just like, you know, when you think of an earthworm, right, they tend to get cut up really easily in the earth, and they always find a way to heal. And I feel like you are either, this has happened in the past, and that may be what this case is, that this has happened in the past, and seeing as we have that Five of Swords here as well, I feel like you may be talking it out with friends. Maybe you're not necessarily going out with friends, but you might be talking to friends about the situation, actually opening yourself up, opening your cup up, being present with them, and telling them the situation that has been transpiring, possibly with this individual of the Queen of Swords. So who in your life has been undervaluing you or seeing you in a certain light and thinking, ew, you're the earthworm, but really you are a very strong individual. You can transmute dirt into, or things into dirt, which then creates life, right? So you are really quite a wonderful, amazing person, but this person is trying to drag you down, and this is your time to heal. This is your healing time, and I feel like for you, that's the biggest blessing, and the healing is going to come from not only healing from the inside, but I really think it's about expressing yourself, and expressing yourself through other people, telling other people how you feel, telling other people your experiences. Maybe that's with a therapist, maybe that's with a counselor, maybe that's with someone completely objective to the situation entirely, or with a best friend. Whoever it is, I really do think you need to be reaching out. I do think that that's going to be really important for you, so that you can find and see and accept yourself without judgment. But I do think I'm going to go ahead and see some more of the information that you have coming in here. So we're going to look in with these C melodies here. So group one, what blessings do you have coming in here as this beautiful earthworm for the month of November? Okay, I felt one here, but I've lost it, so I'm going to keep looking. So Group 1, month of November. Feel free to send your energy in. It always helps. Group 1, November blessings. Dream, follow your yearning for the deep blue sea. So I feel like this may be something that could be related to this. Maybe it's just because they've been cutting down the specific dreams that you have in life. Maybe it's not necessarily like how you physically are, but the ways in which you express yourself, or you want to tell people about the dreams that you have, these yearnings, these excitements, these passions that you have, these passion projects, these just really big, exciting ideas that you yearn for, and maybe they're not necessarily reachable. Maybe there's a lot of things in your path. Maybe it's a really rocky road, or the waves are really high and against you, but you do have a support system that you can talk to, and this is not your support system right now. This is not the type of people to be heading towards, because right now I think that they are seeing your passions and cutting them down, and you may find yourself realizing that this could even be you. So if that is the case, then definitely take this how it resonates. But seeing as the Three of Cups fell here, I feel like it's for the majority of you, you're the earthworm. But I do think it's important, if any of you are starting to feel like, wow, maybe I'm that person, then this is your situation. This is a situation in which you can start to take time to introspect and realize where you may be holding other people's dreams back as well. And holding other people back by the judgment that you are placing on them, projecting on them, or creating a more toxic environment in. So definitely see how it resonates. See maybe if you are both sides of the situation. Definitely this pile has a lot of introspection for the month, a lot of healing for the month, a lot of taking time to really reach out for help and to reach out for an objective point of view, because I think that's going to be the most healing for you. The other thing I want to touch on with the earthworm as well, and that great thing that I loved from the guidebook of this, is it talks about how earthworms actually, you know, they don't have a skeleton, they also don't have lungs, or heart, or all of these sorts of things, but they do have the ability to know and sense when the soil around them gets too wet, gets too full of water that they can't actually breathe. So right now I feel like someone's trying to suffocate you in that way, right? They're trying to make it so that you can't breathe. And actually pull this card up for you. And if you've ever seen worms in a storm, they always go up to the surface. You see them all over the place. And this does make them more vulnerable, but that also means that you're able to breathe. You're able to aerate yourself. You're able to actually take a second away from the storm and see, take a deep breath and really see the whole situation. So in this case, I also think with the Three of Cups here, right, there's always the cups, and cups represent our emotions. They also hold that water for us. So in this case, how are you going to aerate the soil? How are you going to make the soil less stormy, less full of water that's making it hard for you to breathe? In this case, that's because you need to let these emotions out and give them to other people. Let other people hold them for you. Let other people see them for you. And I think they're going to be your biggest blessing, to find that support group. Find it through therapy. Find it through a stranger. Find it through someone who you can truly trust, that you can intuitively know these are the people you can go to. These are the people that I can trust and put my emotions out there with. And maybe that's even to yourself as well. But I just think that was one more thing I wanted to mention. This also can just mean, like, this month too, to take time to actually work on your dreams. So if you have a passion project, if you have something that you've been dreaming about and wanting to really yearn for and go after, this is also a great month to start doing that. Once you, probably later in the month, after you've kind of gone through and aerated yourself, that's when you're going to feel the freedom to finally flourish, because your soil isn't as soggy. You can actually move and breathe and start to weather that storm in a way that makes it so you can actually follow your passions. But I'm going to go ahead and pull you one more card here before we move on to the lessons quickly, and then we will move to the charms. So let's see your watercolor affirmation for the month. All right, so we have look for the signs. This is a nice one. So this is something entirely different. We did talk about the intuitive senses that an earthworm has, right? They don't have the lungs. They don't have all of the other senses that we have with our eyes and our ears and everything, but they still have ways of looking for the signs, knowing when they can't breathe, knowing when things aren't right. So look for those signs. Start to look for them, especially in the sense of communication, seeing as we have more of the throat energy center here. How are you expressing yourself, and how are others expressing themselves to you? And look in those signs. Start to see where, and notice where people are disempowering you, when people are putting you down, when people are trying to manipulate the situation. Start to look at those subtle changes and see what's intuitively coming to you. And don't just wipe them away or wash them away. Really take them and see and sit with them and see where you can go from there. So I definitely see that. This also can talk about just in general with the 404. Personally, I see 404 angel numbers all the time, as well as like 444 and 333 or 303. But you may see a different kind of a number. You could see ladybugs. You could see different other types of signs that really make sense to you. So look for the signs this month. But with that said, let's go ahead and pull your lessons that are coming in. So these could be related to everything that we've already pulled here, but they don't have to be. So we're going to just see what comes in. So we're going to pull 2 cards. So the lessons that you are going to be learning this November. So what lessons are you going to be learning this November, Group 1? What lessons are coming in for you? So we had 2 different cards show up here in a little bundle, and we have the Moon as well as the 7 of Swords here. So these in combination are just telling me that usually the Moon talks about illusion, talks about things that we aren't seeing, right? Look for those signs, start using your intuitive gifts, start really listening and seeing and feeling, like truly just feeling when this is not a good situation and when it is a good situation to put yourself in, who to be looking out for, who not to be, which I've already talked about a bit before. But this can also be talking about just really connecting with your intuitive side, connecting with that moon side, connecting with your shadow self for that healing. But because it seems like for a while you've been kind of hiding that from yourself, or you're hiding something from other people. Maybe that's those dreams that you have. Maybe you haven't been expressing what those dreams are. Maybe you're scared to see how people would take them. however it resonates, but it seems like something hasn't been uncovered. And the lesson you're going to be learning this month is it's going to be coming to light. It's going to be coming to light, at least within yourself, that you can't hold and hide all of everything, right? They're trying to hide everything, but they're still leaving things behind. They're still leaving things that the moonlight's going to see, that people are going to be seeing. So what are you trying to hide right now within yourself? It doesn't have to be something super sneaky and like bad, but it just can be just you're trying to hold something that just isn't helping, and it's just sort of festering within you. So how are you going to allow that to start to come to light? And that's going to be your biggest lesson, because it is going to be slowly coming to light. There's also a lot of sword cards here, so a lot of that has to do with communicating. So I really think a lot of your month is about how you're communicating, understanding how others are communicating to you, and how you can communicate without projecting your own judgments on other people or taking in the judgments that other people are giving to you. Finding ways to not allow their judgment to cast you off right away. So let that emotion flow and try not to hold it back, because I think that's going to be a really beautiful lesson and blessing for you. So let's go ahead and move on to your charms here. Do let me know if you are enjoying this reading so far with pressing the like button, but also just letting me know in the comments at the end of this reading or now how this is resonating for you, if you like the new lessons cards for the month, if that's something that you're into. Definitely let me know. I'm always up for really fun, nice feedback, constructive feedback. But we're going to go ahead and look at your charms. So these are going to just tell us other little tidbits for the month. So root 1. Okay. It's so funny that this one rolled away, which is why I'm definitely going to keep it in, because it is representative of the sun, and the sun tells us clarity. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in before I get too into this. But the sun represents clarity, things coming to light. And then you also have a charm about things being very foggy, being very hard to see. So you definitely have something coming in with things being illuminated, being cleared, being seen, coming up for air, right? You have to come up to the sun. You can't hide in that moon, in that darkness of the soil anymore, because you need to come up to breathe. You need to come up to find the joy and sunshine in your life from the people who truly care about you. So definitely find that joy, seek out that joy and look for it, because it's going to be a breath of fresh air for you. Other things that are going to be really great, and I hadn't really talked about it much, but with the idea of an earthworm, right? You're in the earth. You're literally grounding your emotions, grounding yourself, feeling really like your self-esteem is really good. You're feeling just really nice and cozy in that soil. But having to come up for air is vulnerable, but it also can be a way to re-ground yourself, right? We don't want soil that feels like you can't breathe in it, or feels like you are, under fertilized, right? You don't want soil that feels cakey and dry, or ones that feel oversaturated with the water. You need to find that perfect balance. And I think a lot of that comes down to grounding your intuitive gifts and just grounding yourself in general. Great grounding practices that could be helpful for you is walking on the earth for like a couple of minutes. That can be really wonderful, like a great way to physically ground your feet. You can also do grounding with meditation, or you can just go outside in nature. That can be really grounding. But for some, even creative gifts can be really helpful for grounding. So maybe that's doing things with actual, like using the soil in your art projects, or dancing on the ground, or something like that. Just using your creative side to bring that grounding out in you. So there is something about that, but also just in general, you may be having blessings coming in, and just the idea that you're going to be allowing yourself to be creative. Maybe that has to do with those dreams that you're yearning for. I do think it's also interesting that you got the one charm that talks about breathing, as this charm is for a medication that is helpful for people who have like asthma, so that you can breathe. So this is literally about finding breath. So there is something about definitely going, like, okay, I was talking about different grounding exercises, but in this case, I think that you really need to find grounding exercises that have to do with breathing. So definitely check out different breathing exercises. There's the box method, where you take a breath in for 4, then you hold the breath for 4, then you let out the breath for 4, and then you hold your breath again, empty for 4, and you just follow that cycle. Personally, I don't love the box breath, but I know a lot of people swear by it. My personal new favorite lately has been the breath where you take in the breath for 5 seconds, and then you hold it for 3 and you let it out for 7. So that's personally my favorite, but definitely play around with different breathing exercises this month, or for different ways that you can meditate possibly with breathing and the breath. We also have the little tortoise shell. This is about going into your shell, going into your intuitive side, really allowing yourself to go inwards. So we've already talked quite a bit about that, but that is shown up here as well. You also have the thou shall not kill charm. This is about somebody getting in your space, trying to ruin your parade, trying to ruin your celebration. In this case, there's like a little boy running away with like the favorite toy or something. So I really think this has to do with someone literally taking your toy, taking your joy, taking your love for yourself, trying to push you down a peg. And you just have to take time to really introspect and realize just how powerful you are and how wonderful you are as yourself, and that you don't need validation or judgment from other people to just be who you are. We also have the bear paw charm. So this is talking about being your own bear, right? The bear can be very hibernative. They can chill on their own, but at the same time, they also have they're going to be like that mama bear. They're going to tell them off. So this is about you telling someone off, or really putting your foot down, creating those boundaries. So with all of that said, I truly do hope you enjoyed this reading here today. You guys have so much beautiful introspection, so many beautiful people that you can start surrounding yourself with. And really, I just love that you got the earthworm. It's such a beautiful card to remind us that we can be any shape or form, and we still have power. We still have power over our own lives, over our own lessons, over where we want to go, what dreams we want to have. And so I'm really excited for you guys. Definitely let me know by giving this video a like, or in a comment down below, how this reading resonated with you, how it impacted you, and anything else you want to constructively comment on. I would love to know in the comments down below. Also, if you would like to join this Kindred Spirit community, feel free to subscribe as well. I put out new videos every single Monday for all sorts of types of readings that may relate to love or career, spirituality. I even went into your spiritual and magical gifts and abilities the other day. So there's a lot you can explore here. And lastly, if you want to support this channel even further, then feel free to check out my snail mail readings, or also my other types of offerings that I provide. I have a lot of different spell and ritual paper that I hand make with my own local ingredients that I find and forage myself and dry. So if you're interested in any or all of that, and you would like to support me while also being able to support you, then definitely check those out down below, or on my Instagram, where I have lots of more information and reviews. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely join this community if you're interested. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of clear quartz as well as the little yellow leaf, then this is the pile for you. As today we are going to be looking into your November blessings and see what's coming in also in the lessons that you'll be learning throughout the month. These can be positive, these can be negative, they can be somewhere in between, but we're definitely going to just see where these life lessons, the exciting adventures that you may be embarking yourself on, we're just going to really look into this. So we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using 2 different oracle decks today, which I'll have listed down below, as well as the rest of the decks and supplies that I'm using here today. And we're also going to be using the Everyday Tarot. So yeah, feel free to get settled, find a cozy blanket, get comfy, get kind of like cuddled in and settled, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space here now, and we're going to see what comes in for you. So what blessings are coming in for group 2 this month? felt drawn to this King of Wands right away. This has a lot to do with planning. This has a lot to do with leadership, and also just that fiery suit of passion and drive and excitement, as well as creation. So we're going to see where that takes you. So what other blessings are coming in for group 2 this month? Group 2. What do we need to know about group 2 for the month of November? I love that you got the King of Wands. It's one of my absolute favorites in the deck lately. Just in general, I feel like I've been getting the King of Wands a lot. So it's interesting that you got that. So we also have the Emperor. I'm not going to take all of these cards because we got quite a bundle here, but I'm going to take the top card here. So we have the Emperor. This also has to do with finding structure. So there's definitely something about organizing, finding structure in your life. They're also looking almost to the past, but I'm not exactly sure what in the past that you still need to plan for, or possibly just that they're all looking towards this coming card. So we're going to see what that card is here. So group 2, what are you planning? What are these November blessings that are coming in, being planned, being decided on, and being created within this month? So alright, so we also have the Seven of Pentacles. So there's definitely like a work ethic kind of vibe happening here. Hopefully, there we go. There's definitely a work ethic vibe happening here where you are working, you are trying to harvest something, but you're not ready to harvest it yet. It's getting there. You're working on it. It is in the process of being built. And I really think it could be something in career, something with finances, or something you're working on in a personal project, an art project, or just in general, something that you're really passionate about, that you're starting to plan maybe the final little tidbits of it, finally starting to get closer to the end goal. We don't have the end goal necessarily in sight because we didn't get the World card or other cards that would indicate the end of it. Sorry about the blur there. Sometimes after I show you guys the cards, they just sort of blur out, but this definitely can talk about that work ethic. So I really think that you're heading that way. But let's see some more information coming in with the Oracle deck here and the Oracle decks for you. So what do we need to know about the blessings coming in for November for group? Okay, so we have 2. We have turn for group 2. Okay, so it says here turn, and it's the dragonfly, and it says what is next in my becoming. So this is about being able to create a shift, creating a turn. So seeing as you're still in the process of creating something, and this is something that happened in the past, right? Because all of these figures are looking to the past. It makes me think that you're ready to make a shift or a turn before you finish. So maybe there's something that you had an epiphany about, or you're like, wait a minute, this isn't working anymore, or it's not growing, right? Because we have like this Seven of Pentacles. You can see them kind of looking like, ooh, maybe that's not going to grow. Maybe that's not flowering. Maybe this isn't working. So you're sort of trying to eliminate a problem before it's finalized, trying to really see the whole problem and think, okay, maybe I need to make a turn. Maybe I need to restart. And this could be in like an actual project, or just in general something that you're trying to put your passions towards. Maybe it's not something that you can physically touch and hold and understand and really put words to, but maybe you're just feeling something in your gut that's telling you you need to make a shift, you need to make a turn, and that's going to be a really big blessing for you. So definitely listen to that thought, listen to those structures that are coming in your life, those signs and signals that feel really structured, right? Because we have a lot of structure here. So maybe it's in your old calendars, you're like, wow, maybe I was doing this last year, and this year I would like to try something different. I want to shift, I want to turn, I want to change lanes. So that's what your biggest blessing is happening here, is that turn. But let's go ahead and keep going. So we're also going to look in with the Sea Melodies deck to see what else may be coming in for the blessings for you for the month of November, or other energy, insights, and guidance that we need to know about for group 2. Feeling this one. So we have take the helm, be in control of your own ship. So like I said, you already have 2 very powerful, very leadership types of people. They are the captain of their ship. They are the person at the helm. They are the person steering the ship and making it go. But the water still tells us what way the ship is going to go. The sails can only move in a certain direction based off of the wind, right? So there are certain natural elements happening around you that are outside of your control, but how can you find control and shift within them? So, like I said, things maybe aren't flowering, they aren't working. Maybe you're trying to work for a company and something's happening within it, and these things are outside of your control. Maybe it has something to do with, like I said, your workplace, but it could also be something within your personal life that you can't control right now. But what can you control? What can you start to put structure to and start changing within? Because we have two wonderful, very powerful individuals here that they both are holding something. They're both holding both their staff and fire, and then also they're able to further continue over here with the Emperor, where they're all just kind of holding something that can tell them the path that they need to be heading on, because they're ready to start making that shift, but also they're ready to put actual structure to it. So start looking at your calendar, start looking at your physical space, maybe your physical body, finding ways to start creating those shifts in smaller steps lead to this control and leadership that you're looking for. Maybe you're ready for a leadership role. That could also be something that's coming in, right? That you're starting to shift and turn. You don't want to just be the worker in the background. You want to be the leader. You want to be the one helping people through. You want to be the healer. You want to be the teacher. You want to be something on that level where you are not the student anymore. You're not still just learning, but you're also wanting to create and take that control, take the helm, be in control of your own ship. So right now I feel like you are the person tending to the sails, and you want to be the person actually controlling the ship. So how can you start heading towards making those shifts? And maybe you can't all of a sudden in this month, maybe you weren't expecting a promotion, or you weren't expecting to try to move higher up in your hierarchy of whatever you're in, and that may be outside of your control. But where can you start making shifts? Where can you start maybe being the leader of a certain project within your workplace? Or maybe you're a like an intern or something, and how can you start shifting to become someone higher up in that space, like something like that. I just feel like you're wanting to climb that ladder, and you're not wanting to do something big, but maybe just create a shift, create a new space there for yourself that will be moving towards a leadership role. And maybe you weren't expecting it, and maybe that's something, like I said, maybe you didn't think that that's something that you wanted, but there is some new shift coming in within you, starting to change your core beliefs or change your perspective, that's kind of moving that around like a tectonic plate almost. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to your watercolor affirmation, but do stay tuned, because we are going to be doing your lessons for the month with the 2 more tarot cards, and then we're also going to be looking into the charms. So let's go ahead and look in. So feel free to send your energy in. What do you need to hear in an affirmation for your month ahead for November, group 2? What affirmation, or affirmations in this case, do you need to hear? So we have, what if, family and friends, and life keeps on turning. So okay, so these could resonate all different types of ways, and these may be very specific to very specific situations that you are going through right now. So definitely take them as a collective reading, see what comes in. It may be all 3 of them, it may be a specific one, but the what if talks about what if a situation doesn't have to turn out negatively, but what if it turns out positively? What if you do gain control of that ship? What if you do start to make that shift and turn? What if you do actually love what you get out of that? There's also something about family and friends here. Maybe they can be a blessing in disguise with all of this. Maybe they could be really helpful in creating that shift. And then that life keeps on turning is just telling me, like, even if your flowers aren't growing, even if things feel kind of dark, or not even dark, but maybe you're just bored, right? How do you start to make that shift within this wheel that's turning, within that calendar that you already are? Start making space for that. Don't just wait for something to happen. Start actually actively putting it out there and being like, okay, I'm ready to make this shift, and I'm going to actually make it a priority versus just waiting for it to happen. So definitely take that by the reins. So as I said, we're also going to be looking into the lessons, the biggest lessons that are coming in. These could be really positive, these could be negative, they could be somewhere in between, and they may resonate differently for each of you. So see how this comes in for you. But here we go. Group 2, what life lessons are coming in for the month of November, group 2? What lessons do you have coming in? What lessons? This top card. So we have the Eight of Swords. So like I said, I feel like you're bored or you feel stuck. I just feel like things just feel very like blah, you know? So if you're feeling uninspired, or you feel like I started this whole thing being like, you're very inspired, you have all this creative energy, maybe that's something you're moving into. That's something that you're starting to shift into. And maybe that's a lesson that you are learning. We also have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords isn't a leader yet, but it's someone who's on their way to becoming a leader. Someone who wants to, and look, they're looking, literally every single one of these cards, each of them are looking to the past, looking to a past situation. But the dragonfly, as you see, even the sun is looking this way. But the dragonfly is looking towards the future. The dragonfly is like, no, we are making a shift. We're not going to keep sticking to the past. We're not going to keep shifting back on that path, back on the road that's easy, back on the road that's comfortable. There's something about wanting to shift things up, right? You feel stuck to the past, stuck to the situation you've been in for a while. It's almost like you're ready to rebirth. It's ready to have like that phoenix moment and being like, no, we are ready to shift, we're ready to change. So also with the Page of Swords, I can talk about someone, a lesson that could be coming in is possibly something happening within the communication and the way that you're communicating with people. So definitely be aware of the language that you're using around people. This definitely came up in group 1 as well. So if that's something that's resonating, that may be something to look into. But the Page of Swords has all this air energy going on around them, and then the Eight of Swords is very stagnant with the water. So there's something about needing to just refresh. So instead of having all the swords around you and feeling kind of stuck because maybe you're scared to be a leader, or you don't feel like you're ready for it yet. Like I said, you're not just going to always just jump into being like the boss of the situation. Maybe you're just ready to, maybe you're not going to make everything right. Maybe you're going to have a naive moment. Maybe you're going to make mistakes. And actually, it's probably most possible that you will. But I think that those are the mistakes and those life lessons that you really need. And yes, that's a very cliche statement. Of course, the mistakes that I make and the failures that I make are actually going to be the seeds that I sow to be, a better person or whatever. So in this case, cheesy is just what it is, right? So I just feel like you are ready to untie yourself from all of these swords, use them as actual stepping stones, and start to actually put them to use. Hold that sword. You may not be the most confident, right? This sword is not like the most confident way of holding a sword, but you're ready to start swinging it. So I don't know. I just feel like you are ready to make that shift, but you may not be at the very beginning of the month, but you're going to feel more inspired as the month goes on. I kind of feel like I want to pull you one more card here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you one more card. So let's get some more information, and it felt right away. Some more information here. So we have Voyage, set sail on a new course, be in control of your own ship. So, okay, it's just telling us the same thing. So I really do think that it's just wanting to continue to voice that you're setting sail, you're setting on a new ship, you're ready to start heading in a new path. So your month has a lot to do with action, has a lot to do with leadership, having to step into a role and knowing that you're not always going to make it right, but you're starting to get more steady on your feet as you start making those decisions. And it's not going to be all perfect, but it's better than feeling tied up, feeling stuck, or feeling stagnant, or like you settled. So let's go ahead and move on to your charms. If you're liking this type of reading with the different cards that I don't normally do, where I do the lessons, definitely let me know in the comments down below, because I'd love to do that more often for you guys to just see, for you all, just to see what is coming in for those lessons. So if that's something you want to see more, definitely let me know in the comments, but also you can let me know by liking this video as well. And if you're just enjoying the reading, you can do that as well. But let's go ahead and see your charm messages. So group 2. Okay, so we have a few different ones coming up here. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the ones that fell upside down. There is the preparation charm. There's something about feeling possibly overwhelmed. Okay, So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see more of what's going on here. So right here in your central ring, the focus of your month, the bigger things that are happening, we have the preparation charm. So I keep talking like make plans, start actually actively making those plans, set them in your calendar. Don't write it in pencil, write it in pen. Start putting yourself and create some accountability for yourself. And I don't mean this harshly. Like, if you don't feel ready for all of that, that's fine. But there is something about preparation, because we do have the preparation charm. So this talks about like icicles. And if you guys have ever lived in a place where you get icicles, you definitely know when spring starts to come that those icicles, those really long ones that have grown all year long, if untended to, can fall and become a very disastrous situation. So this is about being prepared for that, looking ahead to the future, right? You had so much where you just keep looking to the past, keep looking at maybe mistakes, those what ifs, why things aren't working with your friends, with your family, within those spaces, why life feels like it's not turning. How do you start making it turn? Start looking to the future and start making plans. Maybe they're not going to be perfect. Maybe you don't know exactly what those plans are going to be, but start heading on those new adventures. Start creating that space that's going to make you feel more peaceful and is actually going to maybe calm some of that anxiety in you. And I know that seems like, how does that happen? I feel anxious about possibly moving on and doing things. How would that actually help me? But in this case, sometimes getting out of your comfort zone over time is going to create a space that you feel comforted by. So we also have the insecure charm, or feeling less safe, but then we also have the overwhelmed bit, which is why I felt like there was an anxious feeling about it. But you do have the peace coming in here. So the more prepared you are, the more you start making those steps to be prepared, is going to actually help a lot. We also have the scared cat charm over here, where they feel very kind of like threatened or scared. A great way to maybe help soothe that feeling is with music or with rhythms. So that could be ASMR, by listening to something that's very rhythmic, listening to specific like hypnotic beats. It can also just be like literally banging on a drum or playing an instrument. But there's something about music here, dancing, singing, voicing your opinion, really putting those beats out there. That's going to make you feel less anxious or less scared to start stepping up and seeing where you can go with that Page of Swords energy. We also have the letter D showing up here, so this can represent maybe like your dad, or it can represent someone's name. Dave showed up for whatever reason, but we do have the letter D here. And then we also have that there are a lot of people involved. So when I was a kid, whenever I saw a puzzle piece, I always saw this as different heads. So I always thought they were like little people. So it's like a bunch of people around a conference table trying to logically make steps. So maybe you're gathering with different people that you haven't seen in a while, or it could be just that you are starting to be a leader, but in doing that you need to, find the people that you're going to be leading. And leadership doesn't necessarily mean like dictatorship, but it just can mean that you're starting to give people a space in which they can be heard, a space which you can, be a community leader, right? Like I'm talking all this stuff right here. I could be a leader to some of you, but I see us as equals. So, no one's bigger or larger at this table. Everyone is equal. So how are you going to get your voice in and make it equal in this space so that you feel like your personal leadership and empowerment is coming through? And again, I really do think it has a lot to do with career, but that could just be the majority of people who chose this pile, so see how that resonates. But we do have the Helen Keller charm, but it fell this way, and that does talk about courage, in case that represents anything for you. But this also can just talk about leadership too, and the feeling of like everyone's eyes on you, right? Like we've got George Washington here, or at least I believe it's George Washington. And basically the point is, though, that they have this legacy, right, that they're holding on to. And maybe you just feel like everyone's eyes are on you and you don't want to make the wrong step and be that legacy of whatever it is, that every step that you make, someone's going to be looking and seeing and criticizing and judging everything that you're doing. But if everyone's equal at the table, then no one has to feel like they need to create judgment. It can be very constructive and helpful there. But with all of that said, I do believe that is all of the charms, and that's everything that we have here today. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Do let me know in the comments down below or with a like on this video how this resonated for you and if you enjoyed it. That really does help a lot if you like the video, but also it just helps to know what you guys like about these readings. If you like the lessons, if you like the blessings readings still. I'm trying to fan these out, but they're not really, they're sticking. But if you like those sorts of things, do let me know in the comments down below. I love to have conversations with you all. I may not reply right away, but I do read every comment, and I do eventually reply, usually within the week. So yeah, don't be shy. I love to have those constructive conversations around the table with you all. Also, if you are new and this is maybe one of your very first readings here with me, I do new readings every single Monday on spirituality, on career, on love, on different self-love kinds of readings. There's lots you can check out here. So if you're interested in the Monday readings that I put out, definitely subscribe and join this Kindred Spirit community. I also have a community on Instagram that you can check out too. I'm very active there as well. But if you want to support yourself even further while also supporting this channel, then definitely check out the different offerings that I provide. I have them all listed down below in the description, as well as on my Instagram. There's lots of different reviews and things that you can check out there visually. But I provide snail mail readings that you can check out down below that are hand typed on a vintage typewriter and sent to you in the mail. They could be on career, on love, on spirituality, on your past lives, talking to your future self, whatever it is that you're interested in, we can look into that. But in addition to sending the letter itself in the mail, I also have the option for you to receive the magical spell paper that I create and a personalized sigil custom to you to use in your spell work rituals and workings. But if you're not interested in the actual reading part of those spells and rituals and you just want the paper itself that I hand make for you all, then definitely check out the Yule paper that I have out, or other ones that I may have out beyond this reading. Definitely check those out because I love to make ritual handmade spell paper that's very eco-friendly. It's all made from 100% recycled paper and is created with hand-dried ingredients that are local. So definitely check those out down below as well. But thank you to everyone who's been supporting me so far on this channel, supporting me through those different readings and offerings that I have, but also being able to support you. I get so excited to see you guys open your readings and see what comes in for you, and I really put a lot of love and care into all of it that I do. So definitely check those out if that's something that you're interested in, and thank you so much to everyone who has. I really do appreciate it. But with everything said, I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you enjoy your new shifts and turns for November, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of black tourmaline as well as this orange leaf, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to just focus this real quick. Yay, you guys can actually see. But today we are going to be looking into your November blessings and the life lessons that are going to be coming in this month. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you enjoy the new added lessons aspect of these monthly readings. But we are going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using 2 different oracle decks, which I'll have listed in the description down below alongside all the other tools that I'll be using today. And the tarot deck that we're going to be using today is the Everyday Tarot. So feel free to get settled, grab some water, some tea, a cozy blanket, whatever really gets and makes you feel settled and safe within this space and centered and grounded, because we are going to go ahead and begin. Definitely send your energy in through time and space here. If you don't really know how to do that, then just think of your essence or your soul and really kind of just communicate that. If you can feel energy, then definitely express that energy through maybe close your eyes, whatever really makes you feel comforted, but definitely let that energy flow. And we're just going to see what comes in here for you today. So group 3 falling right out. So we have the the Knight of Cups showing up here first off. So the Knight of Cups can be very much into their emotional side. They use their emotions, they use their intuition as their guiding force to move them forward. So what are you using your intuition to move you forward? And in this case, you're looking towards the future. So what in the future are you looking towards? Let's get some more information. So group 3 here. Group 3, what blessings do you have coming in for the month? So we also have the Page of Wands. So here we are with the Page of Wands. This can be adventure. So maybe you're craving adventure, craving a person to go on an adventure with. This could be a new adventure in more of a love sense, but it also can just be in general heading towards places in the world, like actual travel, or just in general that you are traveling on a more emotional level throughout your space right now. So all the passions and goals that you're heading towards, you're using it with both the mind and drive of your emotions, but with the spark and inspiration of that creative side. So let's see some more information here. What lies behind this Knight of Cups and Page of Wands? Because they're both looking towards the future here. So group three. What do we have coming in here for group 3 for the month of November? Group 3. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is really funny because the Wheel of Fortune actually was right underneath this Page of Wands when I picked up that little bundle. So you have here the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune talks about things starting to turn back in your favor, you're getting like good luck. It also just talks about like the Wheel of the Year, or the seasons are changing around you. Maybe that's what's inspiring you. Personally, I find them very inspiring, but not everyone does. So there may be something seasonally, a holiday, get-togethers, just the adventurous side of maybe like over here, winter's coming, so maybe you want to get those adventures in before it's too late or before it feels like you can't do it. But the wheel is turning, and it's not something you can stop, so it's definitely driving you to keep moving forward and move towards the future and start heading in that path. So definitely see a lot of drive for you guys, a lot of momentum, and like that wheel is turning, there's a lot of momentum there. Also, sorry about the blur. That definitely happens every once in a while. This camera does not have the best autofocus, but we make do. So let's see what else is coming in for you. And by the way, I've been in love with this deck. It's the Prairie Majesty Oracle. Definitely grab yourself one if that's something that you guys are interested in, because they're about to be taken by Hay House. Not taken, but they've been accepted, or put in by Hay House. So they're not going to be able to have a lot of these original decks out. So anyway, long-winded way of saying to check those out. But back on task here, group. Ooh, not sure which one that one wanted to come out. There's one at the back and the front, so okay. That one definitely felt like it was jumping out. So here we are with the Grasshopper Jump. Where am I ready to leap forward? Like I said, you have a ton of momentum. You are ready. Again, this Grasshopper is looking forward to the future. So here we are. What future plans do you want to start jumping on? What do you not want to wait on anymore? So here we are. It says, where am I ready to leap forward? We also have the Earth symbol here, or possibly the Sun symbol. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's just resonating for both of those. But there we are with Jump and the Grasshopper. Some other things that I want to talk about with the Grasshopper and that I love from the guidebook, because I am still playing around with the guidebook with this specific deck, and I absolutely love what it has to say. I can't gush about this deck any further, but anyway, what I wanted to say though is the Grasshopper can obviously really jump forward, but the other thing that's really cool about Grasshopper is that they use their past experiences, they use like their intuition, they use that cup, they use where they've come from, all this passion and drive and wisdom that they've been gearing up, right? A grasshopper, if you've ever seen, it's not like a bunny, it's not like little hops, little baby steps. It's one giant leap. So you've been coiling something up. A lot of intuitive, creative, exciting, passionate energy has been coiling itself in you, like it's just been roped up. Possibly an intuitive sense, almost like your gut, literally, as our gut is, all roped up inside us. So where are you feeling like you're just like raring to go, just ready to jump into it? And if you're not sure what that is, maybe it's still coiling and it's going to continue to coil within the month, and that's going to be that really big, exciting leap forward as a blessing for you, to, especially if you've been feeling stagnant, to finally make that leap, finally have this wheel turn, start actually heading on those adventures, start actually making those steps forward, or big leaps and jumps and bounds forward, because the Grasshopper is ready to jump. You are ready to jump, and that's something that you're going to intuitively know, right? We had that Knight of Cups being you at the very center of it all, and right there you can see not only are they holding the cup, but they're also using it as a way to move them through this water, to move them through this landscape that may be rough seas, but they're going to move through it because they're going to use their intuition. They're going to know when to stop. They're going to know when the water is too rough to get through, but also they're going to let the waves carry them, let their emotions carry them forward. and they give a lot of passion to this very dry landscape of the desert here that the page sits in. So these two working together is such a wonderful combination because it just really balances things out. Where you have a lot of water and you have a lot of earth, that's when you get to mix those together and finally start to leap forward, because it gives a balanced, and the Wheel of Fortune talks about things coming back into balance as well, as a way to give you direction. So if you've been feeling lost, definitely use your emotions and your passions to move you forward. You can't just go off your passions, and you can't just go off your intuition alone. You have to have a structure to both of those as a way to leap you forward, as a way to actually catapult you into what you're after. So what is it that you're after? Let's start looking into that. So, okay, group three, what is it that you're after? What are you ready to jump forward in? Group 3. What is this catapult for you in this blessing? Okay, so we have prudence. Very interesting. So we have don't be lured by the siren song. So like I said, you have to definitely have a balance here. The song could be part of the passions, just in general. That could be another part of it, because sometimes this isn't fully literal. But there is something about being discerning about what it is that you're going to jump for, right? You're only going to make one big leap, it feels like, instead of all those tiny little steps. So if you're going to make one big, giant leap all the way from here to here, instead of those little steps in between, you need to be sure that you're not being lured by the wrong thing, right? You only get to expel so much energy to get from here to here. So make sure that it isn't for the wrong reasons or for the wrong people, especially since we do have people involved. Like I said, we have the Knight of Cups here, but you could also be being influenced by this Page of Wands. So that's another part of this too, where I said you do need these two energies. There is something about a Page of Wands coming in possibly to help you along, or you're becoming this Page of Wands, this adventurous soul. So definitely see how it resonates. It may be just a person in your life that may be luring you and moving you forward. And that may be a good thing. They may be very creative souls. They may be people who are singers, dancers, people who use the creative arts. Maybe they're in theater or something like that, that are making you feel very inspired to move forward. But make sure it isn't something that is not intuitively calling to you. If your mind is just saying, well, maybe I should do that because my mind says so, definitely listen to your heart on this one. Listen to your gut. Literally listen to that feeling inside you that, like, you know, when you go on a roller coaster and you're about to go up and you can feel that feeling in your gut that's like, we're about to go down that loop-de-loop. The moment that happens, that's the gut feeling that you should be listening to, whether good or bad, whoever this person is, or whoever you may be moving into as yourself. Definitely don't be lured by the wrong song, and listen to the right one that is for you, because you only get to expel so much energy. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to your affirmation here, and we're going to move also into your lessons and charms right after. So let's see what affirmation you need to hear, group 3, for the month of November. Almost said October, but for November, group 3. Yeek. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and go ahead and pick these up. So first off, you have here, and only off, you have balance over imbalance. So like I said, there's something about needing to get back into balance. You can't only listen to only the passions, and you can't only listen to your that very emotional side of you. It has to kind of mesh together to create that intuitive sense that you need, that has that fire and that water element coming together in flow. So how are you going to start creating that flow for you so you know where to actually start making these leaps forward? Because I feel like you don't really know what this jump is yet for the majority of you on this pile. So it's definitely needing to be discerning, and that's going to be most helpful for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you a couple cards for the lessons that are coming in for you. So we already know some of the lessons, but let's see if they correlate with what's already coming up, because they may. But we're also going to see if maybe new lessons are coming in, life lessons that you are learning within the month. So group 3, what lessons, and feel free to send your energy in, group 3, what lessons are coming in for group 3. So we have the Empress. Here we are, the Empress. Sometimes I forget to show you guys with these little cards. I get so excited. But there you are with the Empress. They're looking this way, which is slightly different. And we're also going to get one more card on the lessons and life lessons for group 3 here for the month of November. What is coming in and changing and shifting to create these lessons that are coming in? This one right here. So we also have the 8 of Pentacles, again, another one looking the opposite direction. So there is something about a lesson having to do with work ethic and focus, because in both of these characters are focusing very deeply at something. In this case, they're looking at the pomegranate, which talks a lot about intuition, feminine power, but it doesn't have to necessarily be feminine. It could be more gender neutral there, but and in this case, they are working on a pentacle, something in the physical that you are working on. So what are you working on with your intuition and the physical side of you that you're wanting to explore possibly within the month? And that's going to create a lesson for you. This has more to do with your work ethic, so this could be something to do more with career. So maybe you're starting to head on new adventures, but in the meantime, in the mundane space, there is something about needing to follow your intuition on something that's happening within your career, and maybe that has more to do with that prudence again. Don't be lured by the siren song. Maybe someone's telling you again how something should look or where you should jump or something like that. But definitely listen to your own intuition on this. There's also fertility that has a lot to do with the Empress. And then also not only just deep focus, but it also can talk about refinement. So a big lesson that may be coming in too is, what are you starting to leap on, and how is that going to fertilize things to the future for you? So yeah, you could make a giant leap and it just becomes one giant leap and then you're done. But how do you start continuing to make those leaps fertile in the case that they can continue to happen? How can you keep making those leaps happen, where those little baby leaps of the bunny, they're going to just keep happening because they have the energy to do so? How are you going to make that coil come back up? How are you going to continue to wind yourself up to keep that going, especially through the winter season, or possibly into the spring for those of you who are in the southern hemisphere? So how are you going to keep your work ethic strong? How are you going to keep that space for you? And I think that's going to be a big life lesson for you this month, is learning how to continue this work ethic beyond these adventures. So, right, like, when people go on a vacation and they feel all excited about the vacation that they had, but they almost need a vacation from their vacation. This is you going in a big leap, but how are you going to continue to keep all your spoons, to keep all of that energy, to make sure that you're not just expelling it all with that one jump, but making sure to keep it almost like in a reserve. So how are you going to keep that going? So yeah, with all of that said, do let me know in the comments down below how that resonated for you and how this continues to resonate for you as we move on into the charms. Also be sure to give this video a like if you would like to, if it's something that's resonating for you, because it really does help the channel so much and I appreciate it so much as well. It's one small gesture to continue to support this channel. But let's go ahead and move on to your charms. All right, so group 3. Okay, quite a splash this time. So we're going to see what's coming in here. These may be relevant to things we've already talked about, but it could be other things that are coming in as well. So we're just going to play around in this space. I'm going to move this forward for you guys and for you all. So we've got a rhino, we've got turning a leaf, we have something about your emotions possibly being guarded. There's actually quite a lot of guarded energy, so you may not start the month feeling like you can follow your emotions. Maybe you're feeling still guarded about that. Like I said, not all of you may be ready to take that leap, and it may be something that's still coiling up within you. It's something you may be exploring with self-care. We have the Gemini charm showing up here. So there is that Gemini energy. Maybe you actually are a twin. Some of you, this could be a very specific few of you. But if one of you are a twin, it could be that energy of one of you being a fire sign, one of you being a water sign, and how that can work forward. But it also could just be, other Geminis within your life that you are working with and moving you forward. Something that I didn't really talk about a lot with a grasshopper, right? They kind of remind us like of locusts, and grasshoppers in general can really take over an entire crop. They can change the landscape. They can really change and strip nature. They can really make a big impact in higher numbers, just like ants can, just like other insects can. So how are you coming together with your own personal community as well to start making these leaps even stronger and bigger? So maybe that's with a Gemini in this case. Maybe it's about taking up more space as well. We also have the letter U showing up here, so that may give you a little bit more information on maybe who this is. We also have more emotional energy showing up here around the new moon. So this could be something about when and timing, but it can also be just talking about finally unlocking this part of yourself, starting to turn a new leaf, because we do have you kind of locked up with the heart in a lock charm here. So you're kind of locking your emotions on this. Maybe you don't want people to know about these passions that you're having yet. You're not ready to start, voicing them to make this big jump, but they're still going to coil up inside you. So at some point the button's going to pop, because it's going to be too overwhelming to continue to hold, because this is the overwhelmed charm, because this is a bobby pin that's supposed to look like this, but it's been overstretched. It's been overburdened. So maybe you need this vacation to kind of make that work ethic that you were having feel less stressful as well, and kind of turn a new leaf. We also have the kind of defensive charm of the rhino, with the horn and everything. Rhinos also could just be in general coming in with the symbolism of them, or something else to do with rhinos in terms of the way that they charge. So maybe it's again that like charging forward energy that you have with that jump. Something that's interesting that's coming in though is we do have the charm, and this is a little version of me, but this is the charm of feeling like you need to connect with your inner child, or connect with a younger version of yourself. It doesn't have to be necessarily from childhood. It could even be within your adulthood. It could be even a year ago. Whoever it is, it just seems like they need to take up more space within your space. So at this point, maybe there's a passion that they had, that passion and drive, which is actually kind of interesting, seeing as you had both the Knight and the Page of Wands here, because the Knight is more experienced, and this, like I said, is you, but in this case we also have the Page, which is just like a step lower from that. So this may be someone, as in yourself, a past version of yourself, that's starting to come back forward, and it's wanting to take up space within you, right? Sometimes 5-year-old me just wants to color all day. So what person or old version of yourself is starting to come forward and wanting to be a blessing for you, to help move you forward, start giving you the momentum and that coil to start actually uncoiling and releasing, to be kind of catapulting you forward. Maybe that's what I was feeling with that Gemini feeling, right? It's not an actual twin, although it still may be, but it could just be like it's another version of yourself that you're going to let take up space, and actually voice themselves again, reconnecting with a version of yourself, because I think that they're going to be a huge blessing in your life to move you forward and take off some of this stress and load that you have right now. And that may even happen around a new moon here. So yeah, with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading with the charms and everything. Do let me know in the comments down below how it resonated, if you enjoyed the new life lessons, all that jazz. Also, let me know with a like on this video. As I said, that can be super helpful. So thank you to everyone who has liked the video and commented. I really appreciate it. If you would also like to join this Kindred Spirit community, feel free to subscribe, as I put out new readings every single Monday on spirituality, love, career, these blessings readings, 2-week ahead readings, and so much more. So definitely check that out and subscribe if that's something you're interested in. But if you would also like to support this channel even further by supporting yourself, definitely check out the different offerings that I have down below in the description. The offerings that I provide are Magickal handmade spell paper for Yule at this time, but I've also done Samhain and plan to do other fun ones in the future. But you can also check out the snail mail readings that I provide as well, where they are typewritten on a vintage typewriter and sent to you in the mail. And are really fun for career, for love, for spirituality, and so much more. So if you want to check those out and the ritual items that I provide with those, then definitely check those out in the description below, as well as on my Instagram, where there are lots of wonderful reviews. But with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.